Oops, not that one. That one. Hi. Good afternoon. Can you believe it's November already? It's just absolutely ridiculous. Oh, my goodness. Where are we this second? Hello, everyone. Hi, Jacqueline, Pauline, Elaine, Christine. Hello. Glad you could all join me. Right, okay. So I've just, before we sort of carry on, just so don't forget, enter win in the comments to be in the giveaway. I haven't actually picked anything to give away. I do have some dies actually, a little random selection of dies again. Hi Bonnie, oh you got your winnings from last week, fantastic. Well, it's 2 weeks actually, isn't it? Because I didn't do last Sunday, did I? In the internet, but that's great. Hi Rich, hi Lisa. So thank you all for joining me. Gorgeous day here, but can you believe it's the 2nd of November? It's ridiculous. Where has the year gone? Especially like the last 3 months just seem to have crazy. Anyway, so today, what are we going to do today? So make sure you enter win in the comments for the giveaway. Like I say, I've got some random dies here actually, so we'll give those away today. And also I've just put a code in at the top as well, so 15% off any order, whatever it is, whatever amount, 15% off if you use the code Nikki15 until Tuesday. So that's like a little exclusive for doing the live with me. I don't share that anywhere else. So that's just for you guys. So let's get started, shall we? I'm not gonna waffle on today. So hello anyone that's joining. I'm just kind of gonna crack on really. Let me just clear these things out of the way on my desk, so not all just before I flip over. So today I want to make apparently the football's on, so anyway, so I want to make a card today, but also I just want to show you a little piece of MDF that you might not have seen. I don't think we've shown it before. It's not been on TV. I'm having deja vu, so maybe I have, but anyway, I'm gonna show you anyway. So we'll head over and we'll see how we get on with it. So the yeah, so basically, what we have is we've got 2 MDF kits on the website that haven't been on Hobbymaker. These are, and this one is called Snowflake Tree. This is absolutely gorgeous. It's very simple to put together. So basically you get this giant tree, this big tree here. This is an A4 sheet, so this is like 12 inches high for anyone in the States. And you're going to get one tree, but then you also get the stand for it, so it slots together. And the graphics on the website aren't quite right because I've put the wrong graphics up. It actually has this lettering on it, so it says "Let It Snow," and then you've got extra snowflakes on it as well. So it's just a really nice little kit that would be really good either to decorate up and put on a windowsill, or to maybe gift somebody. And you know what, this is one for the kids. It's only $4.99 this, so it takes us a really, you might look at it and think, well, I'm not getting much for my money, but it takes us a really long time to cut this level of detail. It's hugely detailed. So I am going to show you what you actually make. So earlier I've actually painted mine in white, and then this is the so basically you just pop it out. It pops out super easy, and then you get a little stand for it, and this is how it fits together on the stand, and that's it. So it just slots in like that, nice easy design. So this is what I mean about it being really, really easy if you've got kids. If this, I don't know if there's back next week or whether they're still off. I don't know, I can never work it out. I think they're probably back, aren't they? But this is a Saturday afternoon project that they could make for grandma and granddad, or an aunt and uncle or whatever, or just give them it to help them decorate the house maybe. But I actually think and this is kind of why I designed this, I think these would be really good for selling at craft fairs. So anyone that's actually making to sell for charity especially, this is the kind of thing that if you had on your stand, like maybe you have a village fair. We live in a village now, and there's always loads of craft fairs going on. I've all, I grew up in villages, well, in a village, villages, one village. But we never had much going on. But here, there's something on every week. It's unbelievable. Like, there's always like a church thing going on. There's always something at the village hall. There's a little village next, a couple of miles away, and we're in a little village area with and all the villages all have things going on. Now, I wanted to show you how easy this is to actually do, because one thing that kind of always bugs me a little bit when I'm doing MDF, and I think it'll probably bug you too, is when you start to paint and you get all paint in the gaps and stuff, and it makes it all. This is why we always say don't paint in the sheet. So when you get your sheet, it's tempting to paint all over this. Now you can do if you want. If I was going to do that, I would use I would do that if I was using an acrylic marker, but not with paint. And the reason being that the paint actually lodges in all the gaps where the laser went through. And what that does, especially here, where you're going to join things together, it actually adds bulk into the joints, and then it means it won't fit when you come to slot it in, or it makes it really hard and you often have to scrape that paint away. So it's not a good idea really to paint whilst it's in the sheet. And also what happens is the paint acts like glue, and then it becomes difficult to pop out, whereas these just almost fall out. I mean, these little ones here, this is so intricate, this little snowflake here and this one. When I was popping them out earlier, I said to Chris, I can't believe how intricate these are. I mean, look at these stars, and look how fine they are. Stars, snowflakes. Look how fine they actually are. So, these pieces here, these like little joints, they're like 1 millimeter. It's tiny, tiny measurements that the laser does. It's so intricate. So, you need to be careful when you're popping these out. The way I do it is, I find this is the best way, is I get my pokey tool, and like here where I've got one that's really delicate, I actually just push with my point of my pokey tool, I push that through and I just disconnect it, okay? And if it needs forcing, I don't force it, so I'll go to the next one and I'll go to the next one. Now I'm doing these, and actually this one is proving quite tricky to get. There you go. So I've got one, and then I just find that putting my pokey tool right in the center just enables me to, gosh, that one's quite tough. So it just, because I'm having to be careful because they're only 1 millimeter, so they're tiny. So once you kind of get going, it's better to just go slow and pop them out. You see, look now, this one up here didn't want to detach from the end, and it might be because what we do is we actually attach them into the MDF so that they don't all fall out. So basically, and I can tell there's a tab here, I can just see it. So basically I need to knock that tab out, and now that actually pushes through. okay, but it's just worth, just be gentle with them, okay. So you know, it was difficult, and I've actually, because I'm not being gentle and I'm kind of conscious of speed, I actually just snapped that one then. But then I've got all these little pieces on the inside, and sometimes I just like literally go round. So I kind of, sorry, it's hard to show you. I go around and kind of try and loosen them all, and if they don't come out, I actually go round the back as well, because very often they'll come out better on the back, from the back, and I can see the tab there on that one, and there's one there, there you go, and that's it, all those like little bits come out then. Okay, so I know it's kind of teaching your granny to suck eggs, but it's kind of important because it makes it easier for you when you're doing your sheets. Okay, so anyway, what I was going to say was, so then usually what I do is I actually would, because I want this to be white and pale, I would normally gesso this, but today I decided not to. So I'm going to tell you why I decided not to gesso. So gesso, I love, and normally I would just go, I'm not painting with white, I'll just paint with gesso. Now, what that does, because it is much more opaque than a paint is, oh, I've not put any water in my spongy bowl. I have to pinch, just bear with me a minute, guys, because I'm going to need some water. So, sorry, I've lost it. You know what I'm like, gosh, it didn't take long for me to lose my vibe, does it? Oh yeah, I was going to clean my brushes, that's why I wanted water. So, the gesso is much more opaque. It's thicker than paint, and so it has a lot more substance to it. I'm trying to think of the right name, the right word. I can't think of it. I suppose it's the viscosity, really, but that's not the word I was looking for. Anyway, so paint is a lot thinner, and so when you paint white onto your wood, basically it's going to be a bit more transparent than if you were using a gesso. Okay, is what I'm trying to say. Make it difficult for myself, Nikki. Anyway, but because it's thicker, I find you get all little blobs inside all of the gaps. So in all of these areas here, you end up with like stray bits of gesso. No matter how much you try not to, you do, and it can actually look quite untidy sometimes. So today I've actually painted instead with white. Now, a little tip for you with this is this is just like a scrap piece of white paper that I'm using. So, and just a cheap white acrylic paint, nothing flash. Okay, now this is quite a thick paint, but what I want you to do if you're going to do an all over like this is make sure first of all that your brush is quite dry, okay? And the best way to do this and get good coverage, and I don't know if you can see, but you see like down here where my hand is, you see how clean the paint is, so there's no like bits or like blobby bits that have gone into all of or down the edges and stuff. Like if I turn that over, you can see it's, you know, there's just like no blobby bits. I don't know how else to say it, but anyway. And how you do that, it very simply is you dry brush. Okay, so a big brush. So you see like this big brush, if you haven't got a big brush like this, invest in one, because you'll just find it is so much easier. So just a little tiny bit of paint on your brush. Now I've already done I don't know if I did 1 or 2 coats on here, and then just what I found was just stipple it like this rather than brushing. When you brush it into the gaps. Okay, so stipple it on, and then you can brush it. Okay, and that spreads it. and that will actually give you a much neater paint finish. Okay, trust me, it will work, but you're going to need the big brush, and you know, it doesn't matter, it could be like a house paint brush, it doesn't matter what your brush is, you just need a nice big bristle on it. Okay, and that's it, and that will give you a much better finish. And if you want to do the edges, you see, I quite like having this brown showing through from the wood, because I kind of think it gives it a bit of a rustic look. It makes it that sort of shabby chic look. But if you don't like that and you do want to do your edges, having this big brush also makes it easier to just run that along your edges as well and catch the edges. So, and then also doing it that way, you can go on the back as well and do the back again. And what I would do, I've only done the back once, I can tell. So on the back, you know, because this is a standing piece, I would definitely do both sides on this. But, you know, you maybe can't see on camera, but here I've just got none of those blobs that just are annoying and it just makes it look a bit untidy if you get all those. Okay. And by doing it on a piece of paper or whatever, you can, rather than a messy clean up, just do it on a scrap bit of paper, and then you can just throw it away. And I like to just, I mean, I do have a little paint palette, but I get a bit annoyed because then I have to clean it all and it seems to take forever. I have to run it under the tap for ages. So, you know, I just like squeeze a little bit out onto my paper, and then this acts as my palette, and I can just throw this away when I finish then. Okay, so all I'm going to do, see, I could just see a little bit there that just kind of seeped into the gap. Them gap fillers, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's my white. I want to just grab a little bit of blue. Don't know what colour to use. I think. Now, you know me, I always have to go for the same colours all the time. Now, I've got a mix here of different paints, so I've got, this might not work. Okay, make sure that you let me just zoom out a tad on that. There you go. Gosh, it's got dark in here already. Okay, let's get a little bit of green. Now, this is a very thin paint in comparison to this one. And if you want to know which paints I'm using, these were from Amazon, and these are Shuttle Art. Okay, these are those ones that I said were rubbish because I couldn't get, I thought they were all dried up, and it was because I hadn't taken the tops off. Now, this might not have, this might have a top in. Yeah, look. I thought, do you remember? I was like, look, I bought these on Amazon and they're rock solid. Look, I can't squeeze them out. Stupid woman. And it's because they've got a little plastic lid on to stop them drying out. Look. That was very funny. Okay. I nearly fell for it again. Okay. So I just want a little bit of blue, but I want it to look slightly green as well. So not too much. That's probably way too much. So again, I'm just going to grab a little bit. Now you could actually do this with your inks if you wanted to. So I'm just going to literally dab a little bit on. You just want a little touch of colour and not, you know, I don't want it everywhere. Don't want it to be blue all over. And then I'm just going to pick up just a bit of this green as well, and I'm going to add that to the bits where I actually have the blue, so that way I'm not going to cover up all of the nice white, which is kind of what I want. You know, obviously you want your snowflake to look white rather than it being green, but it's just nice to have that kind of, and I'm going to just mix that blue and that green together a little bit, make it a bit more blue. slightly greeny blue. I just don't want to go overboard with it. I just want little touches. Like I say, it would look nice if you actually did this with your inks as well. So obviously do that both sides. Just a little bit up there. Yeah, a little bit just on the star there at the top. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is, whilst I'm just doing that, I've got the extra snowflakes, okay, that we had here. And there's also a couple of little stars. Now, I dropped this on the floor and didn't notice this snowflake, and I stood on it, so I broke it. But anyway, never mind. So here, I'm just going to do the same again and just dab these. Got two tiny little stars there, which maybe could be a different colour, but it's fine. Okay, now I'm going to just clean my brush off, and then I'm going to actually squeeze all the water out of that, because I do want it to still be quite dry, like I said, just in case I want to come back, because there's not a lot of white on these. I haven't redone my white. So, but what I want to do is I want these to stand out. So I am going to get our gloss white stencil butter, okay, and this time I'm going to use that dry brush, so this is why I wanted it really nice and dry. I'm just wiping that on my spongy just to dry it out. It's still quite wet actually. This is why your sponge is so good. Look, this is kind of my paint spongy. Can you see? It's like nice and messy and grungy. So that's like this is all crinkled up because it's barely even damp. There's bits on that that's still dry. That's kind of how I like this one, because then I can squeeze the water out of my brush there. That's virtually dry. Okay, so the reason I'm using this is because this is really opaque. So a bit like the gesso is really opaque. So it's going to give us a really nice, hopefully, brilliant white. Now, when you use this, do you know, I think that brush might be a bit bigger. Hang on. Get one slightly smaller. Just want one with a little bit more control. So, the stencil butter, look, it's really thick. So you can hold it upside down and it's not going anywhere, basically. So I want something that's got quite a lot of, again, kind of thickness. So, but you see, look, too much and it starts filling those gaps. And what you can do, I mean, you can just use lots of different things. You know, you don't have to only use one medium. Use all different things. So if you get stuff in the gaps, let your brush dry, brush it out, okay? And I'm not bothered. See, there's some bits, and I'm going to put really strong. I'm going to dab that on there. And I want it to be really strongly white. And then there's other bits where the MDF is actually showing right through. Let's zoom in. And if you want to, you know, again, if there's no blue, let's get some, because I kind of lost my blues on here. And it might be an idea, just so you don't contaminate. You could, on these big bits here, this is what I love about the texture paste, is this is so thick that you can actually create your dimension on top. So by kind of going in, this is the sort of stuff I play about with, because, you know, just using different tools. So, you know, picking it up with your poker tool, because it's nice and thick, look, I can actually make that into a dimensional snowflake then. And what we'll do is we'll drop a bit of glitter on that. So like here on this, we'll do the same on this one, I think, small one. So just make the centre, and I'm just rolling my poker tool round. And it just enables you to make it a little bit more dimensional just by having that little raised line that goes right through. Let's do this broken one so it looks like it's intentional. Okay, I quite like them. They're looking quite good. And then, you know, like in the centres here, I'm going to use the end of my poker tool, and let's put a blob in the centre there like that. Got another one there. Now, the only thing is, if you're going to use a paintbrush with your stencil paste, you must wash your paintbrush out straight away, because it will dry hard, okay? So just remember that. Right, okay, so that's our... Oh, sorry, I'm finished with that. So what I want to do now this is where I'm going to get a little bit messy, okay? Because I don't really know a better way of doing it. Well, where's my thing gone? My knife, palette knife. Lost my palette knife. I had it the other day. Oh, there it is. It's just upside down. So, let me just turn the lights on, guys. It's gone really, really dark. 1 second. Need to open the blinds, really. I don't know whether it'll make any... That better? See what we're doing now. I could barely see what I was doing. That's better. You can actually see. So excuse the shadows, though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use my palette knife, and we're going to actually kind of slap it on a bit here. Okay, so we're kind of going to use this as if it's snow. So having not put anything in all these gaps, we're going to actually go around the edges. And just because this is so dimensional and thick, it's just going to sit there. Now, if you've got any snow text, anything like that, obviously you could do that as well. I don't want loads on, but I do want it to look like I've got snow. You can see how much of this I've used already out of my pot, because I'm in love with this stuff. So this is the white gloss. It might actually say matte. It's actually called matte, but it's actually glossy. So I changed the name of it so it wasn't confusing. What people think they're getting something matte and they get gloss, but it's the actual sort of proper terminology. Okay, so not too much. I don't want it everywhere. I just want it to look like it's been touched by snow. Bit in there. Probably more than I actually wanted, but anyway, never mind. Just put a few little bits in. And then we're going to decide where we want everything else to go. So, I'm going to grab a bit of glitter, because I do want some glitter. which glitters to use. Oh, I've got all sorts that I found the other day. See, look, I've got all sorts of sparkles here. So I've got silvery bits, I've got big crushed bit of big, but I don't want, there's like lilac in there, I don't want that in there. I've got some sequins here. So I think we'll just do like a mix of everything, shall we? Let me get rid of that pink because it's all going to pick up on there. Okay, so let's have some sequins on. I'm going to end up with a bit of a mix. And then we've got, these are all Tonic Nouveaus. So I've had these for years and not used them. Look. Ooh, wow. Ooh, they're nice. Okay, so let's get some of these on. Don't know if these are going to stick to this paint or what. It might not stick, you know, it's quite warm in here. Anyway, we'll try. We'll have a look. We'll have a go. A little tiny bit of silver. I am going to tip all this back, so don't worry. I'm not going to waste all this that's going on this sheet. It is going to get tipped into a new. It'll become a new mix. Okay. And then we'll do the snowflakes, but I just want to get this on whilst it's still wet. And then we've got this super fine glitter here. Okay. Which sticks to virtually everything anyway. Okay. Oh, that's so yummy. I've just put my fingers in my snowflakes. Idiot. Okay. So let's... Oh, look at that mix. That's a really nice mix. Look at that. How lovely is that? So look, can you see that? I don't know if you can... Oh, that's really nice. That is, it's not coming over on camera. That is so sparkly. I don't know if you can see it a bit better. I don't know. Anyway, so that's nice. That's come out really nice. Now, one thing we've not done, we've got our words. So, just before I forget, because lots of you have joined us since we started. So remember to, there is a giveaway. So I'm giving away some dies. So to be in the giveaway, just enter win in the comments. And if you can like and share the live, I don't know if it lets you do that. That would be really cool because then it would get seen by more people. So let all your crafty friends know. So we've got our words. Okay, now I don't know what I'm going to do with these. I think they would look really nice if they were, because I want it to really stand out, the writing. I think they would look really, really nice in like a dark glitter. So a completely different colour. Let me see what I've got in there. Oh, it's got to be a red, hasn't it? No, I don't want it red. I really don't want it red. Oh, I know what would look really nice. Let's try this. Okay, look what I've found. So we've got Distress Embossing Glaze. So let's do that. Why not? I want something quite solid. I want it to be like a solid... Oh, nice. Okay. Do you know what? I might just sprinkle that on everything. Okay, so let's just move this out of the way. just move my tray so I don't put my fingers in it. And I'm going to move this because I need to find a pot for this to go in because this is lush. In fact, I might not be done with that yet. Oh, look at that. Look how nice that is. Wow. I really want to do a range of embossing, of like sparkles and glitters and things. That is so nice. Let me grab another piece of scrap. Okay, so I have here my Versamark. Do you know what I do have? I've got a Brilliance ink pad here that's the same colour look. So same colour as this. So let's make sure we get a really good level of colour on this. Oh, nice. Okay. Just going to leave that there. Do you know, it's funny, isn't it? This ink pad, I think I've had this. Well, do you know, I know how long I've had it actually, because when we had the fire, which was in 2016, so I've had that 9 years since we had the fire. And I literally lost every single thing in my craft room. Literally, it was gone. And so I remember how long I've had that, because someone actually very kindly donated it for me. So on the snow bit, I'm only going to do half in the powder. Where's my cookie gone? Tweezers. This is what I love about our Sunday sessions, is I kind of play a bit, don't I? I've got all my stuff in my drawers behind me and I just kind of grab whatever I find, I just grab. Right, I'm going to just move them so I can get rid of this powder so I don't waste it. And this is yet another thing. You know, I buy this stuff. We're all the same, aren't we? I think this is probably first time I've used it, or maybe second time I've used it. But I'm a bit of a magpie for anything that's this colour. So hello to everyone who's joined us today. Thank you so much. Right, okay, let's go for it, shall we? Let's see what this comes out like embossed. Now what I am going to do, because this has got Brilliance ink on it, I'm going to just dry the whole thing out, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to actually glitter the top bit where I've not put that embossing powder on. I want like a double look. So let's see what happens. So let me just read some of your comments. Don't forget 15% off any order until Tuesday when you use the code that's in the comments at the top, which is Nikki15, but you just need to make sure you spell it as I've written it on there, and put win in the comments to win the giveaway. I'm going to give away a few little random dies that I've got. Nice. See that glossing up? I might do that twice, you know. In fact, I am. So whilst that's still hot, here, we're going to do a triple emboss, I think, or maybe just a double. Let's just bring that out of the way. Oh, that's nice now. Ooh, really nice and lush. Look at that. And this, oh, I've got a really nice thick glaze on that. That is lovely. Are you all crafting? Hello, Natalia, Liz, Maz, Paul Kelly, Lisa, Monica, hello, Sue, Guna Lins. New name today. Welcome from Instagram. Pippa, hello. Yeah, gorgeous colour. This is my favourite colour. I was actually talking to Chris about this the other day because this colour is obviously like dead trendy right now. But I've always been a massive fan of this colour. And when I think back, all my houses I've ever lived in, from leaving home at like age 20, flats, whatever, I've always decorated at least one room in, like, not this bright, but in like a shade of this, you know, like our, I call it Tiffany blue basically. But it's, I think the real name of it is Eau de Nil. And I've always had that colour in my house. I absolutely love it. Gosh, that's gorge. You can't see this. Look at that. Now, I need to poke the middle of that out because it's going to harden if I don't. So I need to just get that out of there. Oh. That's it. Oh, that looks so nice. That looks mega professional. I don't know if we're going to get a card made. I thought this was going to be a quick project. You know what it's like. I get carried away. I'm so sorry. I'll see if I can make a quick card. But we're already at 22. But I'm nearly done now. I just really wanted to show you how nice this little tree comes out. Okay. And then I'm just going to shove that back in. Now, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this one because because I've only done half, and this is a technique I really love to do, where I only half emboss something, or I ink something in two colours, and it gives you this really nice ombre look. So we'll put it on the tray and we'll see what it actually looks like. So I'm going to get rid of that because I'm definitely not going to emboss that anymore. Yeah, this is the Distress embossing glaze in peacock blue, obviously. Best distress colour ever. So now, these are like proper embossed tiles. Look, just 2 coats. So, if I'm not convinced it's standing out very well. Let it snow. Don't know, what do you think? I kind of feel like it needs something else behind it. I'm a bit undecided, guys. Do you know what I think I might do? I think I might ink. It's just not standing out well, is it? What? Let's see. Okay. let's try something, because if it doesn't work, we can always come back. We can always come back to it. Okay, so chip sapphire. Now, I want to make sure, because I've got all my snowflakes as well to go on here too. So I want extra, in fact, you know what? Nice. Got ink. I just, oh, stupid woman. I forgot that I've got paint on there, embossing paste on there. Right, I think, let's go. Deciding where you're going to position things. I think there. And then I can have snowflakes going around. So, let's come in here. Is that going to stand out? No. It doesn't really, does it? Maybe a bit darker. This is the thing, you've got to, you know, play around a little bit. That's it. It's starting to. That's better, isn't it? It's starting to stand out a bit better. Do you agree that's better? Let me know. What do you think? With the dark behind it. And then if we just do the same in there. Yes or no? Can't decide. So I'm just kind of guiding by eye where, I mean, obviously I'm getting blooming stuff all over my ink pad, but never mind. It wasn't very well planned out, was it? Would help if I'd scroll down the comments and could see what you were writing. You never know how. Yeah. You think it works out? It looks better? I'll tell you what will work better. What will work? I'm gonna go to my snow text. Okay, I'm on my last dregs, guys. Okay, I have actually just ordered some more. I can't live without this in my stash, and it lasts for a really long time. Unlike a lot of other things, it doesn't dry out. Right, okay, I've not got much, so right, I'm gonna, I think, let's just go for it. Oh God, I've hardly got any left. I haven't got enough to do it. If I just do that. I don't know if it's going to work or not. And my last dreg, this is my last scoop. Maybe it'll look better if it's stood up. Let's see. What do you guys think? What do you think? I think it looks better in real life than it does on camera. Yeah, 3D it up. The light's not helping in here because it's not particularly showing up that well. This is why I love crafting with you, because, you know, we're all in it together, aren't we, at the end of the day? There, can you see it better there? Yeah. It's just all a bit jumbled. I think it's because I've got too many colours going on. Oh no. My silicon's all... Oh, there it is. It's coming out. Right, okay. So let's leave the white behind. God, honestly. Let me get rid of the blob. Okay, let's really raise this right up. That's a good idea, whoever suggested that. So with my silicone, I'm trying to not have it very visible. Oh, that's better. Yeah, whose idea was that? Well done. This is what I love about crafting. We all help each other, don't we? Well, hopefully, anyway. So just hide that a little bit. Got a massive blob under there, but that's fine. Okay, so in fact I'll keep them off. So it might look better when I've got my other snowflakes on to actually balance it out a little bit. So look, that looks a lot better, doesn't it? You maybe can't tell from there, but when you sort of see the dimension of it, don't know, still something not quite right with it, but anyway, I could be here all day. So I'm gonna just put these extra bits of snowflakes on just to give it a little more dimension. And my broken one might just sit underneath there quite nicely and hold there. Let's put that one under there then, because nobody's going to notice it's broken there. And I might even do, I think we need one of them there. Oops, where did my glue go? Sorry, I'm just trying to decide where that goes. Let's do it at the top. And then I've got a couple of tiny little stars as well. So I might just put one of them on the end there. And let's have the other one on the end of snow. Oops, God, my glue's in a mess. Okay. So, what do you think? I think it's like there's too much going. Do you know what the problem is here? We've got too much going on the desk. See, when you start to tidy up, it actually starts to look a lot better. It's not very balanced over that side. Needs to come over a bit. That's better. Yeah, there you go. What do you think? And then, so, let me just flip. So then, all we're going to do is just put that in the base, and I'm not going to glue it so that I can actually take it down, because I am actually going to use this. It's really lovely. So, but I can then actually use it. So that just then stands up. So although I'm saying, oh, it's a nice little kind of quick project, it is, but obviously I was messing about a lot. So what do you think? It does actually stand out, doesn't it? It's not too bad. Doesn't help with the camera angle, obviously. And I've not quite got it straight. There we go. It's all flopped a little bit with standing it up. So I'll put it on the side. It'll look better once it's actually dried, I think. Maybe a little purple is what you need. It is pretty. Yeah, it is pretty. Yeah, it's better than it was, isn't it? Just that, having that little highlight, and maybe just a touch of purple might actually lift it a little bit. I don't know. I kind of feel like too much going on, but anyway. There you go. That's the snowflake MDF. So if you fancy having that is called Snowflake Tree, and like I say, I think it's $4.99 in the store. So if you get 15% off, what's that? $4.99, $3.99 that'll be, won't it? Will it? 50, 10, 3, 4.25. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, there you go. So I'll put that to one side. I did want to just show you. I don't think we've got time to do a card. We're at an hour already. One thing I did want to show you, because I know the other week we did actually go through the MDF release, the main MDF release, but we didn't have the samples. And so I did want to just go through and show you some of the samples, because I feel like on Hobby Maker they weren't really shown much. So let's just have a look. I just need to get this glue sealed up again because I'm terrible and it'll be all glued up and manky when I go back to it if I don't. Okay, so I just want to show you some of the samples. So we have so just to show you what I'm talking about, where have I put it? We have 3 new MDF kits, and actually I said last time I was going to do one of the trees, and I've still not done it, and I wanted to do it today, but anyway, never mind. So basically we have the MDF trees here. Where's the sample for that gone then? I don't know where it's gone. Just bear with me a second. No, I won't go grab it. I know where it is. It's a long way away. So we've got the MDF trees. Okay, we'll do that another time. We also have the 3D sleigh. So the 3D sleigh, I now actually have the sample with me. So we did actually make this last time, didn't we? So if you remember last time we made this is it once it had actually dried. So this is the actual one I made. So, and then just to show you what it looks like once it's been decorated. This is what it looks like. Now, this has been in transit and it is damaged. So it snapped here. So unfortunately, it wasn't packed very well. So, but basically, this is your MDF sleigh, which is so cute. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit on there. Oops. There you go, that's better. So you can see I just painted it in red. I put in here just like a little Christmas pick, and just some berries and a little bit of raffia in there just to fill it out a bit. And then I've actually got here this cute little gift envelope thing that I would put in there, just like with a gift card in it. And you know, you could put some sweets in, so you know, and that my idea for this was you could actually use it as an advent thing. So you know, this could be like 1st of December, you get some like little candy sweets, and then each day you could put a new advent thing in, and you could put a different tag in with a number on it or something like that. You know, you could easily use it as an advent, but it is really, really easy to make. And despite the fact that this is broken, it is actually very, very sturdy. So as long as you look after it and don't, you know, ship it in a box crammed in with loads of other stuff that's too heavy, you know, it's actually really nice. So just to, if I take all that gubbins out, you can see inside, this is why I've got no snow text left, because I put it all on the edges here. So you can see it's all laser cut inside and everything. It's very, very cute. Really nice to use your waxes on and everything. So yeah, quite cute. I'm a little in love with this, I must admit. And then I just, like I say, I just made a little pocket there. Put some little berries in it. You know, cheap as chips. And some little sweets. And that's just going to sit again. Luckily we have loads of windowsills in this house, so you know, that's just going to sit on the windowsill for Christmas with a little treat in every day, because I'm sure it won't last more than a day. And then we also have a set of lanterns. So we have small, medium or large, or you can get all three. Now, this is what I didn't have samples of last time, and I really wanted to show you. Again, this had been damaged, so I've had to fix this today. Let me get this out of the way. So, basically, just zoom out. So we have, because I want you to see how big these are. These are amazing. And I do actually have little lights for these. Aren't they cute? So we've got small, medium, large. Now you can see by my hand here, even the small is not small. So by small, I mean 8 inches tall. The medium one I think is 10, and I think the large one is 12, if I remember rightly. I did them, well, near enough, 11 and a half. It's higher with the handle on the top. But basically, if I turn, you can't really see with the lights on. So we've got 3. So if I just, let me zoom, why do I never have enough space? So this is the small one, got it the wrong way around. Now on this, the actual door opens, so it properly opens, so you can get in it and you can put whatever you want in there. You can put, you know, I've just bunged some foliage in here, you know, but you can decorate it however you want it to be. You know, if you want to put a little candle in, I mean, I've put little lights, like I say, I've put lights in mine, little LED lights, which I got off eBay. I think they were like 3 for £6 or something, and like some little pine cones, and just a bit of foliage, and it's just such a lovely little decorative lantern. Don't put a live candle in, please, because it is wood at the end of the day, so you know, you don't have a naked candle. But you know, you could put one of those faux candles in there, couldn't you? It's so nice. Let me just go to a different camera, see if I can show you on it. So it has this handle on the top, so you can, that's better, isn't it? There you go. So you can see right in it. So the door actually opens fully, and closes, so you know it's perfectly stable. Like I say, mine got a bit bashed because I think the box that we send it backwards and forwards to Hobby Maker and kind of got a bit, you know, they weren't very careful with it, put it that way. But you can put whatever you want in there. You could put a little scene in, couldn't you? Again, I think this would make a really nice little advent thing. So you could hide sweets in or whatever. So that's the small. They are all different. So the small one is just like kind of plain. On the medium one, this one, just move that. This has got hearts that you can add on. So this is actually cut away in the top. So on the small one, it's just plain. On this one, you've got a little heart. And then you've got a heart that you can actually also attach onto the front. God, I don't know what's happened to these. They've really got bashed around. So again, you know, you can do whatever you want with that. Put your little lights in there. Light it up. Just looks so pretty. And then, you know, do what you want with it. Like I say, mine's just got kind of stuff crammed in. Just little bits of junk that I've got lying around that I've had forever. A few little berries or whatever. But you know, you could do whatever you wanted in it, couldn't you? It'd be nice for on the Christmas table, wouldn't it? The three of them, which is what I'm going to actually do with mine. And then the large one, so how I decorate them, this one I've actually just, inked it. I didn't paint it, I inked it in red, distress ink, and then I've just snow texted it all over. This one I actually just did dry painted like I just did on the tree with white and a little bit of green and blue, and that was it. That's all I've done to that one. And then this one, the big one, like you can see by the size of my hand, look how big this is. So, you know, this is sizable. This one, I actually didn't paint at all, but what I did was I covered this in waxes, so silver and gold waxes. And, you know, exactly the same thing. They're all really easy to put together. And you can see that on this one has a star at the top. So they are all different, which I thought was quite nice to make them different. So they're all sort of slightly unique. Again, if you're selling your crafts, any kind of craft fair, if you make these and have these on the table, they are going to get snapped up. They really will. Especially if you put a little bag of sweets in there or something. But, you know, you can put anything in. You know, like, look, I mean, get all this gubbins out. You know, they're a bit overfilled, mine. But, you know, you could have just a little, you could just put your tea lights in. And it's not just for Christmas. You know, take all this Christmassy frippery out and it'd be for all year round. Got that caught, don't know how. How on earth has that happened? So look, that's got caught in the actual berries. That's unbelievable. Oh, unbelievable. No idea. There, thank you. So like that one, you know, take all this out. It'd be nice for, like, if you've got a patio, you could just have it on the patio maybe, you know, like on your table outside, you know, just with a little candle in there or whatever, you know, just really, really pretty. So, in fact, I like it with less in. So, that's it. So, that's the lanterns as well. So, like I say, they're available separately or for value, a set of 3. So snap those up. They've been super popular. So we've had to make the stock for these twice because they're so popular. Right, okay, that's it. I am done. So, but we are not done. Let's do a giveaway. So let me just tell you what somebody's going to win. Let's see. I've got, like I say, I've got some random. Got some random dies here. Okay, so these are just some dies that my manufacturer sent me very kindly, free. I don't know why he keeps sending me these free dies, but he does. So we've got 2 that make curly flowers, 2 different types of curly flowers. There's a little globe here, which is quite cute. That'd be nice, wouldn't it, for a bon voyage card if anybody's leaving, or you know, like uh, um, graduation, something like that. That would be really cool. And then we've also got a set of leaves here, so 4 leaves. Nice big size these. So this one I think sits on there maybe. I don't know. And that one actually has like a cut line in it, and I think that can slot in there, and the same with this as well. So you know, we've got that. So someone's going to win these. So who's commented win? Who's commented? Gosh, I need to look. I'm going to show you all these look at this sparkly mix. Ooh. So who is winning? Let me go onto the other camera. I'm going to have to put this mix away before the cat sees it, or she'll be all over it. Okay, so well, Bonnie, yeah. Well, I wouldn't pick you straight away anyway, Bonnie. I do random it, but I random it so that the same people don't win all the time. So it is random, but random with a purpose. So who've we got? No design team people. Sorry, girlies. Okay, who've we got? I am picking Sue Lee's. So Sue Lee's, can you email me website at polkadoodles.co.uk or do it through the website? You can do it through the contact form on the website and just quote the code WIN so that I know the issue, and I'll send you these dies in the post. So anyone else? Anyone for any more? Yes, go walk the dogs. Yeah, definitely. I have to go find the cat as well. Before, like you said, before it gets dark, it's literally got about, I think, about 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe before it gets dark. So that's fine. So yeah, congratulations, Sue. Thank you everyone for joining me. I'm sorry I never got to a card. I will be back next Sunday, if not before. We're trying to have caught up a little bit. The last Hobby Maker show was absolutely crazy. So we've caught up a little bit now. So hopefully I might have a little bit more time, but I can't promise. The days just fly. I just don't know. It's like here we are Sunday, and in a flash it'll be Sunday again, and I can't tell you what I've done in between. But have a good week, and hopefully I'll see you all next Sunday too, if not before. Watch out, we've got some, I don't know what we've got coming this week. I can't remember. My brain's all shot today. Honestly, it's rubbish. I blame it. I haven't even had, do you know what? I haven't even had a drink since I got up. I had a drink of water when I got up this morning. I haven't had, this is the first one and it's cold. I made it about 3 hours ago and I found it on my desk. I think that's why. I think it's dehydration sending me loopy. Right, I am going to go. Guna Lynn's, sorry. Thank you. Jacqueline, thank you. Hope you enjoyed spending your voucher. And thank you to everyone, all you regulars that join me every week. Thank you so much. I will see you next Sunday for sure, if not before. Okay, bye bye for now.